Hi, I'm Beth Graham. Welcome to Yoga Foundations. Please remember this is your practice and to listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, then back off. If you'd like to modify some of the poses, you can follow Scott's lead, or if you'd like to take it to the next level, follow Melissa. And remember to take at least 5 minutes after your practice for Savasana. If you'd like to find classes in your area, please check simplyyogamd.com. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Step to the top of your mat in mountain pose. 6 inches between your toes, 6 inches between your heels. Begin to press down through the mound below the big toe. Spread the energy to the mound below the pinky toe. Ground through your inner and your outer heel. Begin to lift the inner ankles to draw the arches up. Feel the muscles of the thighs begin to contract and firm to the bone. And then press the tops of the thigh bones back and press your pelvis forward. Feel the lift from the pelvic floor and then the space 2 inches below the navel. Draw that in and lift it up. Move the fronts of the shoulders back, soften the tops of the shoulders down. On the next inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Feel your side body get long. Keep reaching up through the fingers as you tuck the tailbone, pulling the lower ribs in. And taking the right hand around the left wrist, begin to bump your hips over to the left as you fold right. Return to mountain pose, pressing through the 4 corners of the feet. And then square the hips. You might need to draw the right hip back just about 1 inch. And then lift the right side of the chest up. Soften through the shoulders. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. One more exhale. Come back to center. Reach the arms up high. Separate your hands. Pull the shoulders down. Draw the core in. Lift the chest up. Take the left hand around the right wrist and you're going to bump your hips right as you fold over, lengthening left. So grounding through the 4 corners of the feet. Feel the balance and then begin to draw the left hip back just about 1 inch and lift the left side of the chest up, leaning back into the right shoulder blade. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Come back to center. Reach the arms up high, separating the hands, and then pull the hands down to your heart center. On the next inhale, lift the shoulders to the ears, and on the exhale, soften them down the back. Again, breath in, shoulders will lift, and breath out, shoulders release. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Next inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling and then begin to bump your hips back, then bending your knees and sit into a chair pose. So when you sit into your chair, make sure you can see your toes in front of your knees. So bring more weight into the heels and then tuck the tailbone down. Press through the heels and lift the chest up. Soften and release through the shoulders. Keep reaching through your elbows, biceps are by your ears, pinkies tilt in. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Fold forward, bring your palms down to the mat. You're going to take it back to a high plank pose, the top of a push-up. So the bottom of the wrists are under the tops of the shoulders. The crease of the elbows move forward to the front of the room. And then lengthen the low back, tucking the tailbone down. And feel the inner thighs spiral towards the ceiling. Now begin to pull the heart forward through the biceps. You'll come forward on your toes. One more big inhale. On the exhale, from your hips, lift back to your downward facing dog pose. So this posture begins with your hands. Bring some space between your fingers, but not too much where you're straining. And then press through the knuckle below your pointer finger. As you press that energy down, you'll begin to feel the shoulders lift and the hips lift. Now rotate the crease of the elbows up towards the ceiling so you feel an external rotation in the upper arm. And then draw the navel in, tighten your core. Keep tilting the pelvis towards the ceiling. And with the pelvis tilted up, see if you can just feel the slight tuck of the tailbone down. Keep pressing the tops of the thigh bones back. So this is a leg pose. You're using leg strength to elongate the spine. And then looking at your kneecaps, they should be lifted. Your quads are engaged. And then your inner heels roll out. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Shift the weight forward. Come into a tabletop position. So the knees are under the hips, bottom of the wrists, under the tops of the shoulders. And then press through the hands, and on the next inhale, look up, lift the chest up, lift the sits bones up. So this is your first back bend of your practice. You're long from navel through breastbone, opening through the collarbones, pulling the shoulders down the back. Now see if you can thread the heart forward, just like you were doing in your high plank. Lift up a little higher. And then on your next exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel into the spine, and release the back of the neck. So really press down with your hands. See if you can open a little bit more through the backs of the shoulders. And then on your next inhale, you're going to begin to flow with your breath. Inhale, lift the chest up, lift the sits bones up. And then on the exhale, tuck the tailbone, release the back of the neck. This is a core contraction. One more time, inhale and exhale. Return to your tabletop position, your neutral spine, and looking down at your mat, reach your right leg back. So the right foot is flexed, toes are pointed towards the floor. You're going to roll the outer right hip down so your low back is square. And then really press back through the right heel so you open the back of the knee. And then reach your left arm forward to the front of the room. The thumb will reach up towards the ceiling. Soften the left shoulder down the back, and then feel as if you're lengthening the left side as you reach forward. Lengthen the right side as you press back. One more big inhale. And on the exhale, return to your tabletop position. Reaching now the left leg straight back, flex the foot. Roll the outer left hip down. Engaging the core, reach the right arm forward. So bring the right bicep by the ear, pull the shoulders down, and then really reach through the elbow, reach through the fingers. And then keep pressing back with the left heel to lengthen the left side. One more big inhale. On the exhale, release back into your tabletop position. So if you'd like blocks for a runner's lunge, bring the blocks underneath your hands like Scott is. And then take the right leg forward. Make sure the knee is directly over the ankle. You're going to press back through the right heel. And then just like you were doing in your leg arm extensions, you're going to draw the right hip back to keep the low back square, bringing the top of the right thigh bone down. Now press the front of the left hip up, reach back through the left heel, and then draw the core in, lift the chest up. So more length from your navel through your breastbone. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Bring the top of the left knee onto the mat for a low crescent lunge and reach the arms up towards the ceiling. So you've already begun to back bend in your cow position. So now begin to bring the outer left hip forward. So this will come from the quadricep through the hip flexor. And then press the top of the left foot into the mat as you lean back into the shoulder blades. So feel the length from the navel through the breastbone. Soften through the shoulders, reach up through the fingers, tilt the pinkies in. One more big inhale. Exhale, palms down to the mat. You're going to return to your tabletop position, taking the right foot back, and then bring the left leg forward, making sure that the left knee is directly over the left ankle. Curl the right toes under, come into your runner's lunge. So you want to feel the energy as you press back through the right heel, straightening the leg. And then bring the top of the left thigh bone down to the floor. This will get your hips square. And then draw the left hip into the midline of the body. Draw the core in, lift the chest up, open through the collarbones as you reach back through the shoulders. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Bring the top of the right knee onto the mat and come into your low lunge. Arms will reach up towards the ceiling. So press down with the top of the right foot and then begin to send the outer right hip forward. So you're feeling the opening on the front of the right thigh. And then begin to lean back into the shoulder blades as you lift the chest up. Soften the tops of the shoulders down as you reach through the elbows, tilting the pinkies in. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Palms will come down to the mat, and this time you'll step the back leg forward. Bring your hands to your shins, and on the inhale, lift the chest up and look up. On the exhale, that same core contraction as your cat position, drawing the chin into chest. Inhale, lift the chest up, look up, and on the exhale, fold deep. One more time, inhale, extend and lengthen, and then exhale, fold. On the next inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reach the arms high, and then on the exhale, bring the hands down to your heart center, return to your mountain. This is your foundation. Breath in and breath out. Next inhale, arms will reach up. And on the exhale, reach the hips back, bending your knees, chair pose. Bringing the weight into the heels. Lengthen the low back, tucking the tailbone. Press through the heels, lift the chest up. See if you can sit a little lower in your pose, and then lift the heart a little higher. One more inhale. Exhale, palms to the mat. Take it down to your high plank pose. And then lift your hips back to your down dog. Breath in and breath out. Reach the right leg straight back. The toes will point towards the floor, and then press the top of the left thigh bone back. Bring some length to the left side. And then bend the right knee, draw it into your nose, step the foot forward, come into a high crescent lunge. So as you come into your high lunge, make sure the right knee is directly over ankle, and then bring the top of the right thigh bone down so it's parallel to the floor. Now bring just a slight bend to the left knee so you can tuck the tailbone towards the floor. And then press the left thigh bone towards the ceiling as you reach back through the heel. Now draw the core in, lift the chest up. It's the same back bend, leaning into the shoulders. One more big inhale. Exhale, palms to the mat, high plank pose. And then hips will lift, downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. Reach the left leg straight back. Flex the foot, roll the outer left hip down. And then bend the left knee, draw it into your nose, step the foot forward, come into your high lunge, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. So get steady in your feet. Bending the right knee, tucking the tailbone down, and then get active in the back leg. Press through the heel. Begin to lean back into the shoulder blades as you lift the chest up. Tilt the pinkies in and soften the shoulders down. On the next inhale, lift the chest higher still. And on the exhale, palms down to the mat, high plank pose. And then hips will lift back to your downward facing dog pose. So if you'd like to come to child's pose, now's a good time. Otherwise, staying in your down dog, grounding through your hands, lifting up through the shoulders, tilting the pelvis, pressing the thigh bones back. Looking at your kneecaps, they're lifted, quads are firm, and heels pressed towards the floor. If you're in a child's pose, return to downward facing dog pose. And then walk forward to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So make sure your feet are 6 inches apart, heels and toes. Hold your opposite elbow. And then if the weight is in the heels, shift the weight forward so it balances over your arches, keeping your toes soft. The kneecaps will lift. Still, pelvis tilting up towards the ceiling. And then to get deeper into the pose, draw the navel in and pull the forearms down to the floor. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. One more exhale. On the next inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Reach the arms high. And then exhale, hands into your heart center, back to your mountain pose. Breath in, breath out. Setting up for warrior pose 2, step back with the left foot, and you're going to line up heel to instep. So use up your mat in this pose. Bring the back foot in 45 degrees, and then descend right knee directly over right ankle. Arms will open from the center of the chest. So press through the outer left heel, and then press the top of the left thigh bone back to get your hips square. Tuck the tailbone down to the floor, and then press the right knee back to the pinky toe. You can look down and make sure you see your first and second toe. And then the same lift in your mountain pose from the pelvic floor, drawing the core in, lifting the chest up. Soften through the shoulders. Your drishti or your gaze is your middle right finger. One more inhale. One more exhale. Come out of the posture, and you'll turn your feet to the left, lining up heel to instep. So descend left knee directly over left ankle, and then press through the outer right foot. So you can feel the arch lift in the inner thigh engage. And then press the top of the right thigh bone back. Tuck the tailbone down to the floor. Draw the core in, lift the chest up. Now press the left knee back to the pinky toe. Feel as if the thigh bone is a swinging gate. Hip is opening. Soften the shoulders. One more inhale. One more exhale. Come out of the posture, and you're going to turn the feet to face the side wall and toes out to 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock for a goddess squat. So sit into your goddess. Bring your arms into goalpost arms. Bring the weight to the pinky side of the toe, and then see if you can squeeze the glutes together. A little bit of added effort to open the knees. Tuck the tailbone down, draw the core in, lift the chest up. Now to take your mind off the hips, on the next inhale, you're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, sit lower and pull the elbows down. 2 more times. Inhale, reach the arms high, extend. Exhale, pull down. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Standing tall out of the posture, pigeon toe your feet in so your heels are wider than your toes, and then just fold forward, interlacing the hands behind the back as you lift the chest up. So bring the weight to the outer feet, lift the inner arches, and then begin to roll the inner thighs back. Tilt the pelvis towards the ceiling, draw the navel into the spine, and just fold forward and let go. If there's any tension in the neck or shoulders, just release. For 1 more big inhale. 1 more exhale. Bring your hands to your hips, and then lift the chest back up. Turn the feet to the right, set up for your set up for warrior pose 2. Line up heel to instep. Arms will open from the center of the chest. So you've been here before, you've started to get your hips open. So pressing the top of the left thigh bone back, tuck the tailbone down. Side angle pose, you're going to bring the right forearm to the thigh and then extend the left arm. So you're feeling length from the outer left heel, reaching through the left fingertips. Keep pressing the left thigh bone back, tucking the tailbone towards that heel. And then press the right forearm down to begin to spiral the right side of the chest up. And then you can also use the forearm to press the right knee back to the pinky toe. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Come out of the posture and turn to the left. Line up heel to instep. Descending left knee directly over left ankle. So just feel your warrior two. Begin to press the top of the right thigh bone back. Tuck the tailbone down to the floor. Shoulders are stacked directly over hips. Core draws in, chest lifts up. And then bring the left forearm down to the thigh, extend from the right arm. So you're pressing through the outer right foot. Right hip is spiraling back, tailbone's tucking towards the heel. Your core's engaged. The left forearm can press the left knee back and also lift the left side of the chest up. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. On the exhale, come out of the posture and you're going to return to your goddess pose. So again, toes out to 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then sit down into your goddess, goal post arms. So see if you can get a little bit lower this time, pressing on the outer feet so you can begin to open the knees. And then this time on the exhale, you're going to bring the elbows into center, press them. And on the inhale, open, expand the chest. Exhale, squeeze, inhale, open. One more time, exhale and inhale. Standing tall, coming back to the top of your mat, return to your mountain pose. 6 inches between your toes, 6 inches between your heels. Feel connected with the earth as the crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, arms will reach up high. And on the exhale, swan dive forward, palms to the mat, high plank pose. And then stay here, and we're going to modify for a half moon. So bring the right knee directly under the hip and bring your right hand to the center of the mat. Begin to open the hips, reaching the left arm towards the ceiling. So begin to press the right hip into the body, tuck the tailbone towards the left heel, and begin to spiral the right side of the chest up. Pull the lower ribs in. Now, if you'd like to go further, you can follow Melissa and lift the top leg. Draw the toes into the face. See if you can get to the heel and to the same plane as the hip. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Left hand down to the mat. Take it back to your high plank pose. And then bring the left knee directly under the hip, left hand under your nose, open to your modified half moon. Right arm will reach towards the ceiling. So begin to tuck the tailbone, pull the ribs in, lift the left side of the chest, soften the right shoulder. And to go further, you can lift the right leg up, flexing the foot, drawing the toes into the face. See if you can lift the heel just a little bit higher. Get it into the same plane as the hips. One more inhale. One more exhale. Take it back to your high plank pose. And then lift your hips, downward facing dog pose. Breath in and breath out. Grounding through the hands, keep the shoulders square and reach the right leg straight back. Press the top of the left thigh bone back and then bend the knee and open the hip. So you're going to have your hips square and stacked and the shoulders stacked. So roll the outer right armpit down, and you can even take the gaze under the left armpit to see the toes spiraling around. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Bring the right knee into your nose. You're going to come to warrior two. So step the foot forward and windmill your arms. So you're here to square your hips, pressing the left hip back, right hip into your body, and then moving on to triangle pose, straighten the right leg. And we're here to get a lot of length to the right side. So press down through the mound below the right big toe and begin to reach forward as you shift your hips back. And then tuck the tailbone in and windmill your arms. So keep pressing down through the mound below the right big toe. Right kneecap lifts, the quad is firm, and then feel the lift of the right sits bone to lengthen the hamstring. Keep grounding through the outer left heel, drawing the left hip back. And then begin to lift the right side of the chest up. Soften through the left shoulder. One more inhale. On the exhale, come back to your warrior two. You're going to stay here for a breath. So inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, reverse your warrior. Reaching the right knee forward, keeping the top of the right thigh bone down. Lengthen the right side of the body as you soften through the right shoulder. One more big inhale. Feel the opening. And on the exhale, windmill your hands down to the floor, high plank pose. And then hips will lift back to your downward facing dog pose. Breath in and breath out. Reach the left leg straight back and then press the top of the right thigh bone back. Get long on your right side. And then bend your left knee and open your hip. So square the left shoulder down to the mat. Take the gaze under the right armpit. Breath in. And on the exhale, bring the right knee into your nose, squaring your hips, contracting your core, windmilling your arms to your warrior pose two. So line up, heel to instep, back foot turns in 45 degrees. Square your hips, and then straighten the left leg. Begin to shift the hips back as you reach and lengthen forward, tucking the tailbone and then windmilling the arms. So press down through the mound below the left big toe. Lift the kneecap, feel the quad firm, and then lift the left sits bone up. Keep lengthening the low back, pulling the lower ribs in, and then spiraling the left side of the chest up. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Come out of the posture, back to your warrior two. So just settle in for a breath. And then on your next inhale, reverse your warrior. So keep reaching the left knee forward, bringing the top of the thigh bone down. Feel the length on the left side of the body. For one more inhale. And then on the exhale, palms will windmill down to the floor, high plank. And then hips will lift back to your downward facing dog pose. So if you'd like to take child's pose, now's a good time. Bring your knees wide on the mat, big toes to touch. Hips will shift back to your heels. Keep reaching forward through your arms so your elbows are straight, grounding your palms onto the mat, pulling your shoulders back. Breath in and breath out. Inhaling and exhaling. If you're in a child's pose, return to downward facing dog pose. And then walk the feet forward to the top of the mat. We're going to be setting up for half moon pose, so if you'd like blocks, bring them to either side of the mat. And then on your next inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Reach your arms high, hands draw down to your heart center. Just pause, reconnect. Bring the left hand to the hip, and you're going to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So get really long on your right side. And then step forward with your right foot. Bring your hand down to the mat or block. And then you'll lift the left leg up, coming into your half moon pose. So press through the inner right foot. Begin to open the left hip, flexing the left foot. Reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then if you're ready, take the gaze up towards the left thumb. Stay here, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. On the exhale, bring the left foot down next to the right. Bring your hands to your shins. And inhale, lift the chest up, lift the sits bones. Exhale, fold deep. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale and exhale. Next, inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Arms reach high, hands down to your heart center. Back to your foundation. Reach the left arm up, feel the side body get long. Bring your right hand to the hip, and then step forward with the left foot. Bring the left hand down to your mat or block, coming into your half moon. So as you come into your half moon, shift the weight to the inner left foot, and then begin to rotate the right hip so it stacks over the left. Reach the right arm towards the ceiling, and then flex the right foot. As you press the left hand down, begin to spiral the left side of the chest up, still pulling the lower ribs in. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Fold forward, coming out of the posture. Bringing hands to shins. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, fold deep. Two more times. Inhale and exhale. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Next inhale, heart leads the way. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Reaching arms high, hands down to your heart center. Setting up for a chair pose twist. Make sure your feet are 6 inches apart, heels and toes. Keep your hands at your heart center, and then reach your hips back, bending your knees, sit into your chair. So you want to bring the weight into the heels and press through the heels to lift the chest up. So you've got a lot of opening through the upper back. So think of a little cobra in the upper back. Keep pressing down with the heels. Keep lifting the chest. Keep the chest lifted. Bring the belly down to the thighs, and then moving slowly, begin to twist to the right. So bringing the left elbow outside of the right thigh. Bring the top of the right thigh bone down so your hips square, and then bring the right knee back. If you'd like to go further, you can bring your left hand between your feet and reach your right arm towards the ceiling. If you'd like to go further still, bring the left hand around, find a bind. Further still, stand on your right foot, coming into bird of paradise. So keep pressing through the inner right foot, straighten the right leg. Extend the left leg, and release. Both poses, fold forward, come into Padangusthasana, taking your big toes with your first and second fingers. Your wrists will reach towards each other, and your elbows will come out to the side. So you can bend your knees, bring your belly onto the thighs, and release the back of the neck. Or if your belly's touching your thighs, lift the kneecaps up, lift the sits bones up, bring your elbows wide, and draw the core in. Both ways you're going to get length to the hamstrings. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Release your hands, and on the next inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching the arms high. Hands down to your heart center. Breath in. Breath out. Reach the hips back, return to your chair. So shift the weight into the heels. Make sure you can see your toes in front of your knees. Press through the heels, lift the chest up. Keep tucking your tailbone down. And then with the chest lifted, bring the belly down to the thighs. and then slowly begin to twist to the left. So as you twist, bring the top of the left thigh bone down to square the hips. And notice if your right knee just moved forward, draw it back. If you'd like to separate your hands, you can separate your hands. If you'd like a bind, you can wrap the hand around and reach for the right. If you'd like to go further still, stand on the left foot for bird of paradise, extending the right leg. And then come out of the posture. Fold forward into Padahastasana. Stand on your palms. So bring the toes all the way up to the wrist, and your toes can grip the wrist. Shift the weight forward, and then lift the sits bones up. So if the weight is in the heels, bring it forward. You'll still feel balance with the sits bones lifting. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. Fold deeper on the exhale. Next inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Reach the arms high. Hands draw down to your heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Grounding through the four corners of the feet. Feel the balance. And then press through the mound below the left big toe. You'll pick your right foot up for tree pose, bring it above or below the kneecap. And like Scott, you can keep the right heel on the left ankle. This is just like Warrior Two. You're here to open your hips. So press the right hip into the body and draw the knee back. Tuck the tailbone down. And then reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Feel the side body grow long. So feel the length, and then soften your shoulders. Keep lifting the breastbone up. You can rotate the pinkies in, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. One more exhale. Return to your mountain pose. 6 inches between your toes, 6 inches between your heels. Just ground, reconnect. And then press through the mound below the right big toe. Pick the left foot up, place it above or below the kneecap. So as soon as you get into the position, get the hips square. So press the left hip forward, bring the knee back, and tuck the tailbone down. Then reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Feel the sides get long. Soften the shoulders down, and then just tilt the pinkies in. Keep tucking the tailbone, engaging the core, lifting the breastbone up. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Come back to your mountain, hands into your heart center. Inhale, lift the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, soften them down the back. Again, inhale and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Next, inhale, reach the arms up. And on the exhale, swan dive forward, palms come down to the mat. Take it back to your high plank pose. And then lower all the way down to your belly. Fingertips are below the tops of the shoulders. We're coming into a mini cobra. Squeeze your elbows together and pull them towards your hips. Press the top of the feet down, tuck your tailbone, and on the next inhale, lift just the chest up. So that same sensation that you felt before in your practice, pull the heart forward, and then just draw the navel off the mat so you feel long from navel through breastbone. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Release the posture, bring your right ear down to the mat, and then just shift your hips from side to side. So it'll feel like a hug from the inside out. Set the hands back up, fingertips under the tops of the shoulders, elbows squeezed together. Reach the elbows towards the hips, tuck the tailbone, and on the next inhale, lift the chest up, back to your mini cobra. So keep squeezing the elbows in. As you squeeze them in, lift the fronts of the shoulders towards the ceiling. feel the length from the navel through the breastbone. Keep tucking your tailbone. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Opposite ear comes to the mat. And again, just shift your hips from side to side. Let go of any tension you're bringing into your body. This time, if you'd like to set up for upward facing dog, follow Melissa's lead. She'll bring her heel of the hand closer to the hips, press through the palm, and then lift the chest, the belly, the hips, and the inner thighs off the floor. So the hips shift towards the wrist, press through the entire palm, grounding through your pointer finger, and then move the fronts of the shoulders back. Keep tucking the tailbone to lengthen the low back, and then feel your inner thighs lift up towards the ceiling. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Curl the toes under, lift your hips back to your downward facing dog pose. You're here to neutralize the spine. So press the palms down, lift the shoulders, lift the hips. Use your leg strength to press the thigh bones back. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Walk the feet forward. Make your way onto your back. We'll be setting up for bridge pose. So as you set up for bridge pose, bring the heels close to your seat. Scott's going to bring a block between his upper thighs so his knees track directly in front of the hips. Press through the inner feet, lift the hips up, and then roll your shoulders under. So take some time. Get the right shoulder under, the left shoulder under, and then hold your own hand underneath your torso. As you press through the inner feet, reach the knees forward to the front of the room, and then scoop your tailbone towards your knees. Press through the backs of the arms to lift the chest to the chin, and then lift the chin just slightly. Take some tension away from the neck. One more inhale. One more exhale. Release the hips back to the floor. So back bends are good to be done in a sequence. We'll be practicing 2 more. We'll do 1 more bridge. So press through the inner feet, lift the hips up, roll the shoulders under. You'll have a choice for your third. As you ground through the inner feet, reach the knees, scoop the tailbone towards the knees. Squeeze your block. If you don't have a block today, roll your inner thighs towards the floor. Keep pressing the backs of the arms down. Keep lifting the chest to the chin. 1 more inhale. And on the exhale, release. Let it go. So today, for your third back bend, if you'd like to follow Melissa's cue, you can set up for wheel. Bring the hands next to the ears and squeeze your elbows in tight. Both poses, you'll press through the feet and lift the hips up. Both poses, your feet are railroad tracks, so a number 11 with your feet. So bring the toes in. Both poses, inner thighs roll down and tailbone scoops towards knees. In your wheel, you're going to press your heart towards the back of the room. And then in your bridge, you're going to continue to lift your chest to your chin. 1 more big inhale. 1 more exhale. And release, letting it go. Draw your knees into your chest. You can give yourself a hug here. And then just rock side to side on the low back, massaging the adrenals. And then bring your feet back to the mat. Knees will be bent. Bring your feet as wide as your sticky mat. And then let the knees fall over to the left and take your gaze to the right. So the feet are staying wide. This isn't a spinal twist, but you're here to release the left hip flexor. So keep softening the left knee down to the floor. Breath in and breath out. 1 more big inhale. 1 more exhale. Come back through center and then shift the knees over towards the right. Take your gaze left. Feel the left side open now. Come back through center. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then rock from the crown of your head through your sits bones. Make your way up to a seat. And we're going to be setting up for boat pose. So in your boat, move the flesh of the seat back and apart so you can feel your sits bones. And then you're going to bring your hands behind your hips. Press down through the palms and lift the chest up. So there's length from navel through breastbone. Begin to lean back into the sits bones. Lift the shins so they're parallel to the floor. If you'd like to stay here, this is a good place. If you'd like to go further, lift the hands, squeeze the elbows together. Further still, you can straighten the legs, spread the toes. Roll the inner thighs down. Engage through the core, lift the chest up. And then on the exhale, bring the feet down. Hands will come to the front of the shins. Inhale, lift the chest up. And then exhale, draw the navel in. Feel the core contraction. Inhale, this is like your cow posture. Exhale, this is like your cat. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Set the hands up, fingertips behind the hips, elbows squeeze in, shins are perpendicular, parallel to the floor, chest is lifted. If you'd like to go further, lift the hands. Further still, straighten the legs, holding for 3, 2, and on 1, feet down, hands to shins. Breath in, breath out. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. One last boat pose. Bring the fingertips behind the hips, squeeze the elbows, lift the chest. Set up for your posture. Lifting the hands, stretching the legs straight, holding for 3, 2, and on 1, feet down, hands to shins. Inhale, curl back, exhale. Breath in and breath out. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Coming into Eastern stretch or reverse table, bring the fingertips again behind the hips, and then you're going to press the hips up in your reverse table, or press the top of the feet down in your Eastern stretch, lifting the hips up, scooping the tailbone in both postures. So you've just really contracted your core. Now you're creating some length. One more big inhale. One more exhale. And release. Extend the legs. So we're coming into Dandasana, staff pose. Move the flesh of the seat back and apart, and then roll your inner thighs down to the floor. Looking at your feet, pull your pinky toes in. Draw the core in, lift the chest up. So the same open breastbone that you've been working on through your practice. Keep the chest open, and then just walk the hands down to the shins. Draw the core in, lift the chest up, a little cobra in the upper back. And then if you're ready to go further, you can bring your navel down to the thighs, your chest towards your knees, and then bring the face down to the shins with the crown of the head reaching towards the toes. Or otherwise, stay here and keep lifting the chest up. Keep pressing down with the upper inner kneecaps. The more you engage the quad, the more the hamstring will lengthen. One more big inhale. One more exhale. Release out of the posture, and you're going to make your way onto your back. Straightening the legs. Draw the right knee into your chest. So pull the right knee in towards the right shoulder. Extend the left leg. And then come into half happy baby, holding the right inner or outer foot. And you're going to bring the right shin so it's perpendicular to the floor. So see if you can use your right arm strength to pull the knee closer to the floor. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring the right knee back into the chest, so pull it up tight. And then twist the knee over to the left, take the gaze to the right. So if you need to lift your chest and adjust your shoulders so both blades are flat on the mat, and then keep feeling the length from the right low back. Bring the leg back to center, hug it in tight, and then extend the leg down to the mat. Draw the left knee into your chest. So just pull it in. Keep pressing the right upper inner kneecap down to the floor. And then come into your half happy baby pose. So holding either the inner or outer foot. Press the inner arch towards the ceiling. Feel the left hip open. And then bring the left knee back into your chest. Pull it up high. Twist the knee over to the right. Take your gaze to the left. And then come back to center. And we'll be setting up for Savasana. You want to make sure that you take at least 5 minutes. So bring your heels to the corners of the mat. Bring your hands to your sides with the palms facing up towards the ceiling. Begin to release the energy of your practice through the soles of the feet. Feel the muscles of the calves soften from the bone. Feel your thighs spread. Release any energy in your low back. Soften through your belly. And feel your shoulder blades melt. Feel your collarbones open. Release all expression from your face. Bring space between your teeth. Widen the bridge of your nose. Release the inner corners of your eyes. So this is your time to take the gaze within and just breathe. If a thought pops up, let it go and return to your breath.